Good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started with Commissioners Court for today. It's 9 o'clock. This is a regular scheduled court meeting for June 23rd. And we'll get started with this morning's meeting. We'll have an invocation and followed by a pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Ward.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you've given us and for the opportunity we have to gather here and carry out this business today. We ask your blessing on our efforts that you've given us wisdom and knowledge to do the very best job if we can. Lord, we lift up those in our community who are ill. Ask your healing hand to be upon them. Lord, we ask that you would send us rain, send us an abundance of rain, that our springs will be restored, and our creeks and our wells. And Lord, we'll give you the glory for what you're going to do. So we just thank you and ask your blessings upon our nation. We just ask that our leaders have wisdom and knowledge to make the right decision in our state as well in our county government. We just ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 9:02. Noting Commissioner Farrick is the only commissioner absent this morning, not here. We'll go into item number 3, departmental meeting reports. County agent, aging center. County attorney, auditor, clerk. The clerk has attached the not the report for the clerk's office. Community center, nothing there for us this morning. Constable this morning. Oh. Detention center, Warden.
Morning, Jim.
Morning.
So our ADP is 420 and our current count is 410.
Okay.
420.
420.
Thank you, Warden. EMC, EMS.
Nothing major to report. We did get the Starlink installed on the 3 ambulances. That's up and going. I haven't had any issues with that. But other than the addition of Starlink, everything's been pretty normal.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Grant updates.
Judge, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, in your top sheet that I sent, that just to remind everybody that Operation Lone Star required an employee certification has to be signed both by the employee and the supervisor. It certifies that the employee is working 100% of their OLS compensated time on the OLS grant.
Okay.
And I sent those out. I've received the one back from your office. I know the sheriff has got his completed to send to me, but just a reminder for the treasurer's office, the clerk's office, and the attorney's office that I need to turn in. If they could turn it in by the end of the week,
Okay.
or by the 30th, which would be Monday, that would be great. And then they will be due the 10th of the month following the end of the quarter, and I provided all that information to everybody, but that's all I have on any of the grants.
Okay. Thank you, Mel.
You're welcome.
There's another, that was Ms. Westbrook referring to, law enforcement items and grants. It's, there's another attachment in your handouts this morning from the, grant reporters, the grant writers from Ms. Hobbs and Ms. Gutierrez. Kind of give you an update of where we are there. Indigent healthcare, nothing, okay. Judge's office, I'll be gone tomorrow to, screwworm meeting deal, workshop or whatever meeting in, Hondo. So I'll run over to that, and see where we're at on that. The latest word is that they'll, they are going to, with some emergency funding, work on, modifying that facility in Mission, Texas, to get them, get it modified to where they can start producing the, sterile, fly, to start, dropping it back in Mexico and stuff. But Mexico's also agreed to, there's a fruit fly facility somewhere in Mexico that they had, and they have agreed to, modify it, adapt it, to where they can also be producing the screw worm to sterilize them, to drop them, to help. Last I heard, it was about 600 miles from the border, with the little hurricane they had the other day on the west side of Mexico, and the winds. I don't know how far it blew it closer to us. I don't know, but we'll learn more about that tomorrow. And then, other than that, about it from my office for this week. Justice of the Peace report, that was we had that last week. Library. Nothing. Road and Bridge report was last meeting. Sheriff, he's out of town. He's on his way back, so he's not here today. Tax assessor, Ms. Padron.
I give the auditor my report. Do you need one?
No,
Was always requested it.
No, the only ones that were, that's like the sheriff, the clerk, the treasurer. Those are the required, the library, the nutrition center, things, folks that are taking in funds and stuff to provide us a little monthly report, but where your funds are audited by the
Yeah,
state.
she does have.
She's just doing it.
Okay. And then I'll wait to speak when I'm on the agenda as well.
Okay. County treasurer, she's provided her, monthly investment reporting for the, all right. You're here to speak on any of the items on the agenda? We'll entertain that now, or any other item to speak. If you signed up, please do so. But we'll get started with items on item 4 here. 4A this morning is recognized Edgewater Premier Pools of Kerrville for their help in getting parts for the splash pad the other day at no cost to the county. As you know, the splash pad went down on us. It was a lid that's cracked on one of the clean out valve, one of the covers, one of the float filter deals. And it was leaking real bad. So I went to calling around, did a little Google search, and the brand of motor that we had, one of the dealers was in Kerrville. So I reached out to them and visited with those folks, and they're like, yeah, hold on, let me look around, hold on. And about an hour later, the guy called and said, hey, we have one off of the motor we replaced and stuff. He said, I'll get it to you. And I said, well, I'll just come. I was in Uvalde Thursday for a meeting, so I just drove on to Kerrville and picked it up, brought it back. It worked fine, no cost to the county. So I just wanted to recognize them this morning for their courtesy there and stuff. That was Edgewater Premier Pools out of Kerrville. That's item A. Item B, countywide burn ban, have it back on the agenda. Do we want to implement it or do we want to leave it lifted for now? We'll consider it at the next meeting, which will be July 14th. July 14th. So you're talking about 3 weeks. Is everybody good with just putting it back on the agenda for the next meeting, or entertain a motion to put the burn ban back on?
Have the rains been the general rains across the county?
The last little rain we had was a general one. I mean, it was a little heavier in spots, but it covered a lot more of the county than we've been. The northern end get a bunch, or so northern end will get a good rain. Southern end might catch a little bit. The middle would miss a little bit. Right in here, the west side, we get a little bit. It wouldn't come on through town. But the last rain that we had was somewhat general around the county, but it was from like an inch, 8/10 to 2.5 inches, what I heard. But it covered a lot more country than what we've been covering. I'm comfortable with leaving it on. I really am. I mean, unless y'all just really, I mean, I don't know that. In 3 weeks, we go 3 weeks till the next time. That's the one thing that I'm hesitant on. If it was just 2 weeks between now and the next meeting, yeah, but we're going to throw another 7 days in or so, more or less. But that's my only concern, is that we get in these 100+ days and the wind. Holy cow, man, a lot. That picked up yesterday and it did slack off. So if it was just 2 weeks between now and the next one, I'm pretty comfortable with that. That extra week makes me a little, but I think for the 4th of July we should be okay. I think it looks like but you want to just postpone it and put it back on the agenda for July? Okay. So entertain a motion to table item B till July what'd you say, Becky? 14th. Motion made by Commissioner Ward. Second by Commissioner Matavo. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. So we'll table that one. Item C this morning, to discuss and approve Brackett ISD decision to terminate school resource officer interlocal agreement between Kinney County and Brackett ISD. Received a letter from the Ms. Diaz from the school. It's dated June the 9th. She was writing to formally notify in accordance with the terms of the interlocal cooperation agreement. On August the 12th, 2024, Brackett Independent School District will be not renewing its contract with Kinney County and Kinney County Sheriff's Office. Please consider this letter as formal notification that due to changes in available funding, the district will allow the current term to lapse. This notice of non-renewal and termination is effective as June 9th and provides more than 60 days prior notice of the termination under Section 2 of the agreement. We thank you for the work you've done for the school district during the safety of the children, teachers, and staff. Please acknowledge I received this notice as early as convenience. If you have any questions or wish to discuss, please contact. So I pulled up the agreement and so forth, and it was just an interlocal between the county sheriff's office and the school district. What was your cost? Their cost was $19,000 a year, their compensation. So it's basically funding half of one of those deputies. We had 2 deputies and funding half of it. One or half of both? Half of one. So the plan is to still have 2 deputies there. The school resource officer grant. Ms. Westbrook, are you still on the phone?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay.
Yes, the school resource officer grant is for 78,540.80, which will provide $39,270.40 for each of the two deputies. The hours they work at the school is what can be charged through the grant. So if they're there 40 hours a week, or if they're there 22 hours a week, that their time, so there is a grant in place right now that ends the end of September, and in April, we were approved for a new grant to begin 1 October 25 through September of 26. So we do have grant funds to continue to pay to keep them there.
Keep two there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So going forward, we'll have some grant funding to help cover the costs of those two deputies up there. So I entertain a motion to accept this request to terminate our local agreement with this between the school and the sheriff's office. So moved by Commissioner Dotson, second by Commissioner McCollum. Now that doesn't.
So that stay in place though for the remaining two deputies.
Yeah, the deputies will remain there. We're just not. They're just not going to pay us refund.
$19,000.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, to make that's a clear understanding with everybody. The two deputies will remain at school, and then activities or whatnot through our grant funding. Now, if we lose, you can say, in 2 or 3 years from now or something, we lose the grant funding, and we may have to revisit this a little bit and see how we can go, figure this out. But, all right, any further discussion? All those on approving, accepting the to terminate the interlocal agreement, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. All right, item D this morning is discuss and approve the use of bond forfeiture funds to pay for Kinney County Court personnel to attend LGS Conference in November. Expenses including fees, hotel, meals, rentals, and fuel. Remember last year it's as a bond is forfeited, the county attorney gets his portion, and the county receives a portion of, the state gets their portion of. But it's the bond forfeiture money that the county would receive just goes into the general funds of the county and so forth. Last year, when LGS was a new software we started using, we agreed to say, hey, this year we'll use general fund money instead of each individual officer's training funds to go and help learn LGS in the new system. And I'm asking the court, let's honor that at least one more time this year. Let these offices, it would be my office, the attorney's office, the clerk's office, and that's it. And the JP's office. Judge Wheeler out in her office staff have gone to LGS now and stuff. So this would be their first year. So kind of a gentleman's agreement. As I'd say, we do it for everybody one more time this year, and a gentleman's agreement saying we allow Miss Judge Wheeler out and her staff that they want to go next year. The same, we use general funds. I call it bond forfeiture money, but it's a little confusing to folks and gets conflicted a little bit because they think, well, it's coming out of Brent's bond forfeiture, the county attorney's office. It's just bond forfeiture money that's into our general funds from all the bond forfeiture stuff that we've had over the last 4 years. Just using general funds to help pay for this instead of a line item in their budget going towards this training. That's all I'm asking, that we approve that again this year. And then the gentleman's agreement that we'll bring it back again next year to just for the JP's office on. They give every office one more year to go and get the training for whoever they want to send. All right. So moved by Commissioner Matavo, second by Commissioner Ward. Any further discussion on item D? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. All right. Item E this morning is just update, really no action. I asked Miss Cheryl about the FI software. We purchased that last year to convert our our older system of soft financial software, get it updated and converted to, at the time, the auditor and the treasurer selected the FI as the company, Financial Intelligence. And Ms. Cheryl sent an email to me this weekend, just saying the current focus is on completing a fiscal audit for fiscal year 2024 and ensuring that we have a clean and reliable financials to support the upcoming system conversion. Once the audit is finalized, attention will return to converting the auditor software. It's essential in this transition to know with accurate numbers and so forth and stuff. So that's kind of where we are on that. It's kind of sitting on the side right now, postponed until we get through our audit of 2024 and get all that corrected and numbers. They should work on finishing the transition. So that was just kind of just an update there, nothing more, nothing there. Item F this morning was just an update, also kind of on status of Time Clock Plus. As you know, we switched to Time Clock Plus. We didn't switch, we brought it on board over a year ago. Wasn't it? At least probably so. Visit with Miss Diane and Treasurer Office. It's going fairly smooth. She's hoping by the end of July that all the time of vacation, sick leave, comp time and stuff will be converted and reflected in those people's, when the employees log on to Time Clock, they can actually see the true status of the hours they have as far as vacation, sick leave, comp time, and so forth like that. Currently, right now, it's correct in her paychecks, but it's not correct in the system. And she's hoping to finally have that finalized and finished up and inputted and off the old system and all in the new Time Clock system, to where someone logs in and looks at their time to say, hey, I need to take a sick day or something, that they'll see their true reflection of their time rather than having to wait paycheck to paycheck to follow along. They can see it right then and there and so forth. All right. So that's kind of an update for us on Time Clock. And at this time, Time Clock and FI are to be able to talk to each other once we get the FI set up, the financial information, once that software and stuff is set up and all the lines are put in and stuff, the two should integrate and talk to each other, which will be a big help for us as far as time. So we kind of take care of F there for you this morning. Item G, Chad, is Chad in the back room?
He was.
All right, what's the update, Don? Daniel just gives the update on that DIR antivirus protection.
As far as we know, Chad.
Speak up, come on, speak up.
Yeah, he's coming in.
Chad, DIR, an update on DIR, antivirus protection and so forth.
Yep.
Where we
They
at?
gave us a proposal
Okay,
for 25 units.
25?
Yep.
And that's kind of what we're kind of going to do it in units like that as we go across our system.
Now, the only price they would give us is what the software was. Then they said they had a management fee on top of it, but they couldn't pencil it out. It'd be between $3 to $4 roughly for their management fee.
How much is the software?
It's $6.
Okay.
Chad, so remember we've applied for that cybersecurity grant that's got Signal One, is that anything similar?
Yeah, we can utilize that to pay for it, but that's something we can't wait on.
Okay.
They
That's a
prefer us
cost.
start implementing it. And then also, boat software. I was gonna log in real quick to see what the quote was.
Okay. So that's just an update on DIR. It's antivirus protection. It's kind of, we learned about it and got a little bit more involved with it through TAC, through our cybersecurity training and so forth and stuff. So that's kind of why we're looking at DIR. All right. Item H, no action there on, again, that was just an update Item H, discuss and approve motion to make a budget amendment to 2024-2025 fiscal year to move $2,000 from line 010-23-0505 tax assessor collector's office supplies to line 010-2300-0525 tax assessor collector seminars for conferences in June and July. Should it should be 2,300 in the line, I think both lines.
Yes,
001,
that's correct.
010-2300.
2,300.
Okay, so that should be a correction there. Note that, please. See that, Becky? On H, this first 2,300, this is 23.
Oh,
All right, so to move $2,000 from 010-2300-0505 to office supplies to 010-2300-0525. Everybody correcting that now? See what I'm talking about? All right. All right, motion made, move to approve by Commissioner Ward. Second by Commissioner Dotson. All right, any further discussion? Mr. Drone, you got it. Is this your item you want to talk about?
I do want to mention something.
Okay, come on.
Thank you for the motion. I appreciate it. The reason I was short is because the last budget workshop, $1,000 was taken off from my budget for a seminar. And there were 3 unexpected meetings, trainings that I had to go to that totaled $1,378. So that's one of the main reasons for the shortage.
Sure.
Okay. And so Judge, I also wanted to mention, I'm going to have a budget workshop with you. And on this sheet here, the actual for 23-24, this sheet that y'all have, that you gave me with this letter, it is incorrect. It shows 5,501.44 actual. When actually it was 7,040.19. So maybe by seeing that number, you thought I didn't, need the money to, but I did. I needed the 7,000. And that's what the reason for the shortage, because it's taken off and it was miscalculated.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Any further discussion on item H? Do you have the dates for all?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion for item H, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Yes. All right, item I, discuss and approve interlocal agreement with the Nueces River Authority, including Kinney County and the Texas Water Development Board Flood Infrastructure Fund, Nueces River Basin Study, include Kinney County, Nueces watershed in the flood plan map update, high hazard dam risk assessment, low water crossing prioritization, and early flood warning system. Cost not to exceed $166,380. This will be financed out over a 10-year period at 0% loan option, if we so choose, which would break it down into $16,638 per year. And then clarify the effective date and the payment dates. Come on up. You want this one?
Do you have these?
No, we don't. I probably do. They don't. All right, speak up into that microphone for us.
Okay, I'm here. My name's Mason Lebo. I'm here on behalf of the Nueces River Authority. Speak up a little louder, please. Okay, Mason Lebo here to represent the Nueces River Authority on this, to answer any questions you have. Also to kind of give you some of the benefits of this. I think your maps right now are currently 40 years old. The previous update before that was done within 7 years. So FEMA, as you know, is under being scrutinized by funds. FEMA is likely not to have any updates anymore. Most of the money will be pushed to states. This is a part of the state's program. The fifth funding is going to fund this grant. The River Authority, they reached out for a grant to update the maps in the whole Nueces River Basin. You do have partial county coverage in the Nueces Basin. Other counties that have partial coverage have asked about updating the whole county. This is an option not to be included in this plan, but as an additional service. So, basically this mapping will update to 6-inch detail, ability to replace your maps, improves public safety, expands the ability to protect property, encourages economic development, enhances ability to craft meaningful flood protection regulations based on updated maps, reduces flood insurance requirements, and meets eligibility to become a community within critical rating system. The early flood warning system is basically going to be looked at in the whole river basin. Dam hazard assessment. So basically we'll analyze high-risk dams. If there's any mitigation that needs to happen to increase their safety measures, that will be presented to the state flood plan and eligible for grant funding. If you're not familiar with the state flood plan, the state flood plan identifies projects within the whole state that can be eligible for grants. So as a part of this project, anything within this county that would need protection or improvement could be put into the state flood plan and eligible for grants. If you don't participate and you don't get these projects in the state flood plan, you won't be eligible for grants. So that's kind of how it works.
So this project is just about the Nueces River area. Correct. And that's a very small corner of our county up on the eastern edge, northeastern edge. And we also are working with the lower Rio Grande River Authority to hopefully get our Las Moras Creek, because that's the one that runs through the town and all that, to be included in their plan. We've been in contact with them. They have an engineering group that's working on all of their information as well. But I think Nueces River Authority went through, this is Texas Water Development Board.
Yes.
As far as getting this grant done. So we contacted the lower Rio Grande River Authority. They have not requested a grant like this. We asked them if they were doing something similar, but they said no, that they don't have any plans for something like this right now. So this information that you're getting today is just for the Nueces River area.
Correct. It's about a third of the county, which is in that area.
So when it mentions watershed dams, we're not talking about.
We're not talking about the dams that are above town on the Las Moras Creek. These
No,
are just going to be dams that are on the Nueces River.
Right. That goes into what other partial counties in the Nueces River Basin has requested the Nueces River Authority to provide costs to do the whole county. So, but that would not be available through the grant.
Yeah.
So even with our cost of 160,
Yeah. On the back side of that,
166,000, that's just our 25%.
yeah, on the back side of that, you can kind of see where the river basin is in your county.
Yeah, that would just be our matching part.
Good.
That,
Mhm.
and it can either be paid all at once.
Yes.
or you can opt for the 10-year zero interest, as well.
Included in the map is Anacostia Road, and we do have a crossing on there. Well, it just washed out.
It just washed out.
That be included, it's not marked on your map.
Yeah, well, actually, if you look on the front, the low water crossings, it says you have 6, but that's based on older data. I mean, all the information they have right now is not with all the updated data. So as we study, we'll identify areas that need improvements.
So there will be,
So it could possibly be included.
Yes.
So did you say 40 years old? The maps
Yes.
that we currently have are 40 years old, or what they're taking information off of.
Right.
So as the assessments go and they study all of this area, there could be more dams included, more crossings included.
Yeah, just the ones that are marked seem to be on just highways. 334, 670. What is it? What goes north?
674.
Right.
And then 1572 down here. Just seems to be those that are text dot maintain the roads.
Yeah.
Right.
So the county one that you're talking about, where it washed out, is probably not included, right?
well, the road is on the map, but not the crossing.
Yeah, and all this information that you see on this came from the state flood plan that was the previous state flood plan. The state flood plans are being updated now. They were based on old data because there isn't any new data available. So with this study, you would get new data and then obviously find more.
So for clarification, the Rio Grande plan, would it cover everything that is in the white section here?
I would think pretty much, because most of that flows that direction. So yeah, I would think. And we don't know, like I said, we contacted them after we heard from Travis at Nueces River Authority and asked, are you planning on doing something like this? And they said no. So I don't know what exactly we would get from them. I'm hoping that for sure that the Los Moras will be taken care of so that we can apply for our grant funding that we're looking for to work on the creek that runs through the town, the city itself, for sure.
Well, it seems like from a layman's viewpoint, that,
Yes.
the entire county should be covered somehow, either through the Rio Grande.
Right.
Is
Yes.
that potentially what the plan is?
And I would add to this is that as we don't know exactly how partial counties will be done yet, but there have like several of the counties that have partial have requested from the River Authority what it would cost to do the whole county. And we're providing that to the River Authority now. So there will be a cost associated with the whole county that you can discuss with the River Authority. And that would be a cost based upon, quantity, right? We're doing the whole river basin, so including the additional half the county is less than it would be if we were just doing that.
Right. I'm really hopeful that the Lower Rio Grande will include us in theirs. And I mean, they haven't asked us for information yet, but I know they're working on all this as all the other groups are. We've been in contact with them. We've had a couple of phone conferences with the folks that work at the engineering group that are doing their work for them. So we look forward to being included. I'll tell you this as well. We did send them the information from Mr. Barker. They requested that from us.
So we sent them the maps and the information that he had created for the Lost Morris Creek.
My understanding, which would probably need a little clarification from the River Authority, is that the loan doesn't start until the end of the study, and the end of the study is 2 to 3 years.
So was the dollar amounts that were arrived at, are they based upon the number of acres covered in each,
Yes,
and ours was based on this map? It was on the very smaller map, the size. There's a difference in territory. On the sheet. A little bit.
yeah. It's based upon your county boundary and all the floodplains are in it. The cost is based upon floodplain area.
So Commissioner Ward, you don't think this portion that they're showing right here is just this is the blown up side of it over here? I think it's the same. It's just
It's just
so it's just a little,
expanded.
yeah.
We're permitted to enter into contract at that length of time.
Yeah, that's a bit language, but as long as it's funded on an annual basis and y'all can approve funding for this year and automatically do it each year. We can certainly attach the right of that guy to do it. Contract right.
Really, the funding would probably be not this fiscal year, most likely next fiscal year to fund the 16,000, whatever, if we chose to. When do we have to have an answer here? What is I mean, is this just a courtesy visit today to say?
Well, we invited them to come to just explain kind of what this was, more about it, because although Travis sent us, some highlighted parts of it, it was still not enough info to really want you to enter into an interlocal without asking some more questions. So if this is the 166,000 is not due until it's over, then that's 3 years, 2 to 3 years down the road.
Yes.
So that's not even going to be in the next couple of budgets. So it's going to be in maybe 3 budgets down the road.
There would have to be some sort of agreement with the River Authority, though, in place to secure the grants.
So that is what the interlocal is or would be.
What do you think? Go ahead and approve it to do the interlocal agreement? Or you want to table it and have action on it for next meeting? Think
Do
about
you
it.
know how quickly the interlocal needs to get done? Do you know when it all has to be into the state or?
I think it's going to be towards the end of the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to table it, I think we've got a little time to,
We're finalizing the grant as we speak.
Yes.
I think that should be finalized as far as paperwork goes with the board within the next 2 weeks. Then that goes to their board. And I think when it goes to their board, the interlocal agreements have to be in place.
Table it.
Put it on the 14th. Okay.
Mr. Ward, does anybody have any further questions that we could get answered between now and then?
Well, I noticed on the map that, Highway 1572,
Okay,
there's 3 areas that, were highlighted, and of course those are text dots. So,
Okay.
they're not county. And then, below that is the Anacostia Road. And, and we already talked about that.
can I?
It hadn't been reviewed. These 3, this is 1572, which is Farm Market Road. And we really don't have anything to do with those. And that's why I mentioned actually the territory, and I realized the map would be updated, but it really doesn't cover, but, up here.
Mhm.
Because that's state highway there.
So where would in the Macho be?
Right here. This is where the washout.
Okay,
And Elm Creek,
I see.
and then Elm Creek meanders down.
All right.
So,
And to add to that, like I said, all this information is from the current state flood plan.
Yeah.
And they don't have enough information to get some of the structures you're talking about, which is what this is going to do, is update all that. Provide the information for the state flood plan in order for them.
gather a little more.
So my question, that area doesn't have anything to do with the Nueces River in the southern or the southeastern corner of the county. So if that is there, is it because it all runs towards the Nueces?
Yes, it's in the drainage area too.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. I just, because the Nueces just covers that little northeastern corner.
Right.
And so that's southeastern part of the county. So just to make sure,
So everything within this boundary right here drains to the river.
okay. And all of that'll be covered.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was not clear on.
That's the watershed for the Oasis.
Yes.
Right.
South of 90.
And this modeling and mapping that will be going on will map all the way to that boundary. So you'll have information all the way up to that boundary.
Looks like Lindsay Creek East.
Mm-hmm.
Is in this profile.
As you said, Lindsay Creek East flows
To the
to the Nueces and Lindsay Creek West flows to the Rio Grande.
Right.
It almost just cuts the county in half. It's
Right.
kind of crazy how it goes.
Look forward to a little more information.
Okay.
All right, great. Anything else, Mr. Montalvo? Do you see any? You're our Nueces River authority. You see anything that you have questions on or?
We need a raise.
Can you do that? Can you
Right.
add a little rain in there?
I wish. I pray for it every day.
Right, don't we all?
I graduated from Uvalde out of high school, so I know what it's like.
Right.
Okay.
So do y'all work with any of the other authorities, like the Lower Rio Grande? Whenever you're kind of close by, if you have kind of areas that you both cover?
Well, as a part of this grant, I mean, it's very specific to the Nueces River because the Nueces River Authority applied for it. But yes, we do.
Okay. I just didn't know if maybe some of the information we could get from this grant would maybe help us with what we get, what information we could give the Lower Rio Grande to help with that one.
Okay. And so really what we're expecting from the court then is just the approval to enter into the interlocal agreement to have as y'all's packet for submission for the final grant approval.
Yes.
Okay. And then our interlocal agreement approval would be that we're agreeing to pay the $166,000 over the 10-year period and so forth. Okay.
Yes.
Do you know if you have to specify
at the time of the interlocal, whether it'll be a lump sum or whether it'll be the 10 years?
Yes, you'll have to because you'll have to finalize the loan package with the state.
Got it. Okay. So when
And
we,
Oasis River Authority is going to draft the interlocal.
Yes.
yes,
Okay, well, the motion is made to table it. Is there any further discussion or anything from y'all or any commissioners and whatnot about? And it's just a study more so than anything to
Yeah.
update.
It'll update your flood maps. It will, and we'll put projects into the state flood plan, which then are eligible for grants to repair.
so do you know from this, will FEMA have our mapping available on their website?
No, not as a part of this project. It'll be housed by the River Authority, I believe.
Mhm.
And then there'll be basically a way, it'll be hosted on a website.
Okay.
So,
Because currently, when you go to FEMA to get maps of our county, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's little dots all
Yeah.
over the page. That's it. That's
Yeah.
all you can see
Right,
is the outline of the county with just covered with dots.
right.
So we have no mapping on FEMA. So I was just hoping maybe that this would be something that at least half of the county could.
And like I said, with the scrutinization that FEMA's getting right now, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. The state is already taking on producing a statewide flood quilt, basically. And this would go into that.
Is there a draft of the interlocal agreement we can review?
That would be something you would have to get with the River Authority on. I believe that they are working on that.
Travis is working on it. I don't know that it's finalized, but he has been working on it. I know that. And as soon as I get it, I'll send it to you. Okay. And that way we'll be ready for the next meeting. Okay.
All right.
It sounds like it'll be a pretty, much larger interlocal than what we're typically used to, so.
All right. Motion on is to table item until the July 14th meeting. So moved by Commissioner Tarbo. Or motion was made by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Tarbo. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
And if anybody thinks of other questions, if you'll just let me know, Travis, we're in contact with regularly, Travis Krusky from the Nueces River Authority. He's very responsive. So we can get information if you have other questions come up. And we appreciate you coming today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I know that was kind of mine, but I wanted to kind of visit with y'all about a couple of other things if you have time for it. So I wanted to give you an update on the splash pad. The TDLR, Texas Department of Licensing and Registration, accepted our February 1st, 2026 extension to get the updates done at the pool building for the restrooms, the water fountain, that kind of stuff. Making sure the parking lot's ready, the railing for the ramp going up and the ramp, making sure all that's updated. So we have till the 21st of February 2026 for that. The SAM accounts have been updated. All the SAM accounts are current in sam.gov for the county. That's always a tenuous time, making sure that that gets done and is ready to go. Because of course, all of our grants are tied to that. And we have to keep them active. Tatum, we've been working with Tatum on the generator grant, getting the budget modification in, and it has been submitted and they're reviewing it.
We had a phone conference with Fernando the other day for a couple of updates, but we got that done and it's been resubmitted. So we're on the go there. We've also submitted a grant for a drone for the fire department through State Farm for $10,000, and there's no match to that for them. So, and we visited about the NRA grant, so y'all are aware on that one. The last thing that I wanted to update you on is the single audit. As of June the 30th, in Texas Department of Agriculture, our grants will be frozen if our single audit is not in the clearinghouse. So I don't know that that we're at that point. So we're kind of worried about
What date is that?
June 30th.
7 days. 1 week.
So the El Paso Street grant is still open, and we submitted the final payment for Vega. They finished the seeding along the edges of the roads and stuff like that, and we've submitted all of that for them. I think they've already been paid, actually. And that grant ends October the 1st, 2025. And our concern is that we might need to file for an extension if the single audit is not completed, because we're stuck. Whenever 6:30 hits and our single audit is not done, everything freezes. We can't do anything else. We can't submit anything in that grant. So our concern is for that grant mainly that we will not be able to move forward with closing it out and getting the last things done that have to be done for them. And so if we do that and get to October the 1st and have not filed for an extension, we will start assuming penalties. So
Okay.
just so y'all are updated on those things. And if you have questions on any of that, let us know.
All right.
Okay? You look like you're having a thought.
Well, it's not a single audit, obviously.
Yeah.
Wheels for turning or?
I'm not sure on that. We don't, that's not our, so, yeah. So all we can do is, that's their rule. It's in their platform. It has to be updated and certified by the auditor. And June 30th is their date. So we're stuck with that.
7 days.
7 days.
All right. Item I will be tabled to July the 4th and hope 14th, July 14th, and hopefully by that meeting, we'll have reviewed our interlocal agreement and so forth to consider doing a survey, the study and everything with the Nueces River Authority. Item J this morning is discuss and disapprove a road use agreement between Kinney County and Kerrville Solar LLC project. Met with these folks. So I was here this morning, also represent from Samsung. Met with those, they to meet the other day. We met and Samsung, the abatements, the road use agreement was in the abatements as they were presented and so forth, but Samsung still came forward and wants to have a road use agreement with the county to stay in good graces with the county. The attachment you have this morning on your desk, that's as it was written in the abatements, it was attached to Exhibit C. I've talked to Mr. Bristow and so forth, and he says that it's a good agreement, but it'll need to be reworded just a little bit to be a standalone agreement, not not as an exhibit attached to the packet of the abatements. So he'll do a little bit more work there. Name the road, name the map, and so forth, like add the maps and so forth. Samsung's agreed to maintain the road from basically Highway 90 from the intersection of Shoebox Lane up to the boundary line of where their property ends, which should be just short of the Disdain property. So about 2.4 miles, more or less, is what this agreement, road use agreement will be. So I told, they want to know how quick we could have it done. I said, well, we can have it on the agenda for Monday, but let's see about, so I basically, like I said, I had visited Mr. Briscoe. He said the agreement you have before you is fine for us to approve, pending a few little legal adjustments there from Briscoe being, naming the road, some true starting points and ending point. So we have that verification clarified for y'all, for Samsung and us as well. But also you got to remember, right, going just past their entrance will be the one going into the Spain property, that farm there and stuff. So be a lot of use of the road right then and there. So they'll probably have to work jointly if the projects are going at the same time. And the Spain project might be a little bit ahead of this one when they get started. Don't know, just the timing mechanism when all that finally times out, works its way out. So they kind of, it's a kind of a gentleman's agreement for them to come back for, to say, hey, we want to have a road use agreement with the county, just to stay in good graces with the county and so forth. So kudos to Samsung and your team for coming back and saying, no, Judge, we want to have a agreement. The agreement will be a single agreement for both parts of the project. So it'll be for the solar and for the batteries facility. So it won't be two agreements per project. It'll be one agreement that'll address the entire project and so forth from that. There will be in talking with Briscoe, there'll be a small attorney fee that we'd ask if they'll reimburse us. Nothing like what the abatement fees were in Shucks, since those didn't pass. But that's kind of what I talked to Briscoe about the other day and so forth. So, do you have any questions or anything about any of this? That's why it's on the agenda today. So we entertain a motion to approve the abatement pending legal review and so forth. But like I say, you've probably got 95% of it in front of you today as an exhibit from the abatements. Going forth, it'll be a standalone document to address the road use agreement as a standalone document. With identifying the road, shoebox lanes, starting points, ending points, and so forth like that. Any questions for Mr. Strong this morning? Do you have anything to address for us?
No, sir.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the road use agreement pending legal review and acceptance. So like I say, we're going to basically go with the one we got. It'll have a couple of changes in it. Attorney fees, starting points, ending points, and naming the road and so forth. So, all right, because the entire shoebox lane is like 2.8 miles, I believe, more or less. So this is going to basically cover 2.4 miles of it. And then the next farm will be just to the north of that. So, but they're wanting to just make sure that, hey, we're all on the same page. They're going to take care. They're going to go a little bit past their entrance to their boundary line, their property line, back towards Highway 90 for their road use agreement. So
We understand that there's probably going to be some kind of, we're going to have heavy equipment that's going to traverse the road. So it's a counter to, we don't think that it's going to heavily damage the roads. However, we do think that it's not paved. We do know that there are going to be heavy equipment. So, it's just like you said, a gentleman's agreement. We want to be in good grace with the county.
all right. Make a motion to approve the road use agreement pending legal review. Second by
Second.
Commissioner Chavo. Any further discussion on the road use agreement between the county and Carl's Solar Project LLC? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. So we'll get with that and get with Herb and back, y'all work it back and forth and stuff and everything, and we'll get it finalized with a little bit of tweaks. But what you have in front of you today and stuff is basically it. It's just a couple of little things like, and they mentioned this is like as an attachment, as an exhibit like it was, it really didn't make reference to the road or any starting and ending points. It's all in the maps that addressed in the pavements.
I was in Mr. Bristow, like while Commissioner's Court was going on. So he hasn't reviewed the document yet.
He's working it out.
He couldn't read the document that I sent, so
Okay.
yeah, so I'll send that to him at once.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. That'll take care of items 4 this morning. Item 5, approved previous minutes. We have one set of minutes from June 9th regular meeting. Oh, no, not yet. No, shoot. Thanks for getting these back to us. Ordered that wheel thing. Did anybody reach up? I know I didn't. Order the parts for the wheel. Yes, ma'am. Motion to approve the minutes of June the 9th.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dotson, second by Commissioner Tavo to approve the minutes as presented from June 9th. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Approve the bills and disbursements after the Kinney County Detention Center. There are none. Item 7, examine and ratify and approve all claims and bills including payroll for Kinney County budget 2024-2025. You have those there in front of you. Entertain a motion to approve the bills.
Oh,
Commissioner Tavo, second by Commissioner Ward. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. And then noting that Commissioner Dotson abstains on the payment to him. All right, item number 9 is eight. Eight is the other items pertaining to county business. The Hope Center has reached out to me for a letter of support for a grant they're working on with T-Mobile. Just giving y'all a heads up on that I'll
That's for their
signage.
sign. They want a digital sign for the front of the building so that they can notify the community of upcoming events, what's going on, all of that.
So we'll get that signed by the judge's office. We'll get a letter of support to them. That's about it for county.
Can I add
Yeah.
a little something?
Yes, ma'am.
So Judge Schuster, and was that the class reunion
Oh.
for, what was it, 63 through 67, I think?
Something like that.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to him for making the rounds. If anything people ask him to come do, he's there. And I appreciate you
Thank
for supporting the community. I feel like we all should probably be out and visible a little more representing the county. It's a great thing for us to do. I got to go as well and see people that I haven't seen and, well, since I was about that big. So it was great.
They had a good turnout.
They did. They did.
So a pretty good turnout for, like
Yeah.
63 to 67 or something like that or something.
Yeah, Daryl Gordon put most of it together. He worked really hard on it. And it was really nice, and it was wonderful to see all those people together and enjoying each other. And I have to say, I think about all of the world and the diversity craziness. Our community has been diverse for many years and very, very much appreciated for a place to raise your kids where everyone is accepted and enjoyed and just had a wonderful place for our kiddos to be.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hobbs.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
the M3 Club of Reverence is the annual summer field day. So we're gonna be running the park on Saturday, set up operating like if we were operating in the field.
Okay.
So anybody wants to come by and check it out. The actual event starts at 1 o'clock. We'll start to set about 11. So about 1 to 4, we'll be out there with radios going, generators, everything else.
Where's this gonna be at?
And Rendezvous Park. So anybody's welcome.
That's this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is Kinney County pageant this Saturday? Have we heard anything else on that one?
Yeah, they postponed it.
Okay. All right, anything else? All right, we'll recess at 10:18. Go into executive session. Consultation with the county attorney on some items. Personnel matters to be held pursuant to 551074 personnel government code. And executive session 551071, 551129. And consultation with attorney. We got,
One more thing.
yes, ma'am.
Pray for Janelle. Her son Clinton had a stroke, another stroke, and is back in the hospital, and it's a struggle right now. But so just pray for her and yes, from the water, yeah. It's tough right now, so we would appreciate that.
Okay. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll go into executive session. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Run.